Hey, it's Jim here at Silver Forecast. I just wanted to say a few words before this particular video. As an American citizen and as an Afghan war vet, I'm against foreign intervention, and it seems like we're getting into a lot of them recently with Ukraine and Venezuela. Seems like we're getting involved in these, and doesn't seem to have worked out for us in the past. It seems like it's made us weaker as a nation. So I'm not, on the left or the right on these two issues. I'm just against them. Now, generally, I lean to the right. I'll just come out and tell you that. But I don't lean to the right as far as starting all these individual wars. Kind of just as a Afghan war vet, seen some of the results of that, and it's not pretty. In saying that, here at Silver Forecast, we do look at some of these events of global issues, the value of the dollar, other indicators, Fibonacci, RSI. Our goal is to predict silver price. Anyway, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up, and let's get this video started.
Tonight we're breaking down a scenario Jim Rickards has warned about for months, and one that is becoming increasingly difficult for Western governments to deny. Ukraine is losing ground. Russia is rotating in reserve formations. Winter is arriving. And the strategic balance is shifting rapidly. If the United States and Ukraine ultimately lose this war to Russia, the consequences will not be limited to military maps. The shock will ripple through global markets, currencies, alliances, and commodities. And precious metals, especially silver and gold, will be the very first assets to react. A Russian victory represents the biggest power shift since the fall of the Soviet Union. It signals U.S. geopolitical weakness, fractures NATO confidence, and encourages China, Iran, and North Korea to push against American influence. Markets are built on confidence, and when confidence breaks, capital flees towards safety, and there is no safer place than precious metals. Not stocks, not bonds, not crypto. Hard assets. Period. Gold is always the first responder in a geopolitical crisis. It happened in Afghanistan in 2021, Crimea in 2014, Iraq in 2003, and even during the Gulf War. A major American strategic defeat forces central banks, especially in Asia, to accelerate de-dollarization. They react the only way they can. They buy gold. A lot of it. That kind of panic buying drives gold sharply higher, fast. Not slow, not gentle, but in sudden surges that catch investors off guard. A U.S. loss in Ukraine could propel gold into the $4,500 to $5,000 range in a single cycle. And when gold makes a move like that, silver doesn't just follow, it detonates. Silver reacts to three forces at once: safe haven demand, industrial demand, and military demand. A world shifting toward long-term conflict, higher commodity inflation, and global fragmentation is a world where silver becomes explosively valuable. Silver wouldn't just rise, it would surge with leverage. 10 to 20% moves in the short term are realistic, followed by a run toward $60, $70, and possibly even $90 to $100 if gold breaks above $5,000. Silver feeds on uncertainty, distrust in fiat currency, and rising tensions between global powers. Nothing triggers that combination more reliably than a perception of U.S. geopolitical retreat. If the United States loses this war, the dollar itself takes a credibility hit. Nations in the BRICS bloc accelerate their push away from the dollar. Oil deals shift to other currencies. Central banks diversify faster than ever. And every time the dollar weakens, gold and silver explode. That's not theory. That's history. Jim Rickards calls this moment the panic cycle, a point where geopolitical shocks convert directly into financial stress. In the panic cycle, gold becomes the anchor of global value. Silver becomes the high-octane alternative. The dollar loses purchasing power, and commodities become the new battleground of economic influence. If Ukraine collapses and Russia wins decisively, we enter the panic cycle instantly, not gradually, not over months. Instantly. It hits like a hammer. A Russian victory doesn't just move borders on a map. It rearranges the global financial order. And in a world like that, silver and gold don't just rise. They become the lifeboats. Prepare accordingly.